Uh, Good evening, dear students.
Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. Good evening, Sudeep. Hi, Santosh. Hi, Rana Pratap. Hi, Arka Bera. Hi, Teja. Good evening, all of you. Nearly 10 members are watching. Till now, there is 5 sessions are completed. This one is sixth session. Session 1 is deliverables of computer system validation. Session 2 is V model as per GAM5. Session 3 is computer system validation and session 6 key term used in during computer system validation. Session 6 is today's session data integrity and basic GDP. Those who are interested, uh, 1 minute, 1 minute. Some members are unable to log in. Uh, Tomorrow is the question and answer session. All your be ready with questions, specific questions means you can elaborate the answer to better understanding of trainer. Okay, thank you, Anandal. Good evening, Girish. Hi, Vaibhav. Hi, Vamsi. So we will start in session within 2 minutes. Okay, nearly 11 members are watching. Okay, we will wait another 2 minutes. So as usual, last 30 minutes is for doubt session. Tomorrow we will tell you the basic questions asked in computer system in interview, and also some tips given to tomorrow's session is fully doubts question and answer session. The questions related to CSP in interview and also some interview tips. Okay,
Okay, so I
be
will
ready with
preparing
tomorrow session.
some
Let
tips regarding CSV interview and how to face the interview, and based on my experience and as an interview and as an interviewer, I face some question answers and what to do and what not to do. So I will
okay.
preparing based on it, and you can ask any question regarding in how to be ready with interview, which type of question is there for CSV interview. So we will discuss tomorrow.
So Reddy Sai Pavan Kesrala. However, tomorrow timings. You want some medley session? Means you want the session because tomorrow is Sunday. Or sir, you are free tomorrow at
So
afternoon or evening. Can we continue same
uh,
time tomorrow?
I will update you by the I will update you for the time. Either this time is perfect for tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Sai Pavan, can we go with at same time because flow will disturb. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. The today's session is 22 members are came. Shall we start this session, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
Yeah. Okay. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Nagaraju, hi.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
So today topic is data integrity and basic GDP. This is the terminology which is generally we know and we heard in pharma industry. So you follow the data integrity, follow GDP. Some violations is there in data integrity, some error or some mistakes in GDP. So this topic is very useful as a compliance point of view and as a quality assurance point of view in your industry. So what is data? So we want to know the data integrity. but first one we want or we are interested to know that what is the different terminology to integrate and to comply data integrity. So first one is what is data. Means we generally say that data is one type of information or some gathering information which will be available in hard copy or in systems, or we can say on it's maybe in server. So data is information derived or obtained from raw data. Data is meaningful, significant together with metadata and must be stored together. So, by the definition, we are confusing for that what is raw data and what is metadata. So, data is the information gathering from raw data along with metadata. So, now the question is what is raw data? So, moving to the next, what is raw data? Raw data is the base data. We can generally say that we produce or we make product by the raw material. So same meaning is there. With raw data we make the data meaningful, useful, and we will utilize that raw data. So similar, it's if a raw material is there, then we make finished product by using the raw material. So similar here, raw data also known as primary data. It's maybe numbers, instrument reading, figures, etc. etc. collected from a source. In the context of examination, the raw data might be described as a raw source. As I already said, it's a one type of raw material. So all the data means it's number means it's maybe some values of temperature, humidity, some meaningful numbers of high low level temperature, different type of figures which is set in to generate the alarm. So the below screen is of it's a SCADA image which so some values is there. So based on that values, we identify what is ongoing in the system. So raw data is the base to uh, understand the system and to evaluate the system in future. So raw data is the data that is collected from a source, but in its initial state, it has not yet been proceed. Means it's a base for evaluation, but after evaluation it's maybe our reports, it's maybe our final records for that, or it's maybe used for our record purpose for data backup. So raw data is the base for evaluation. So raw data will be used in future. So this definition of data contain raw data. So uh, the understanding of raw data is now clear, and we are going to understand what is metadata. So metadata means the data details of that data. Means data is it's a data without any information. It's only a data. But with metadata, data have some meaningful values, some appropriate figure is there, or some details is available with metadata. So metadata is the contextual information required to understand the data. The data value is by itself meaningless without the additional information about the data. Metadata is often described as the data about data. So example of metadata is, if I write any number means 1 2 or 3, then what it is, it's just a number. means it's a meaningful data. So it's maybe temperature is there. If I write 25, then it's maybe 10, 25 degree or celsius. It's maybe 25% humidity. It's maybe 25 liter. It's maybe 25 kilometer, or it's maybe 25 microliter is there. So if I write just a number, then it's a data. But without the unit, it's only data. But if I write whatever the unit, or whatever the measuring instrument is there, so if I write a 25 microliter, then it's a metadata. And the image is also showing that the image with cat is only data. But if you right click on that image and show the properties, or properties of that image, so the detail is there. What is the pixel, what is the file size, which type of camera is used, and you can get the all details to capture that image. So this is the example what is data and what is metadata. It is already given here. For example, the number 23 is meaningless without metadata. It's maybe anything, means any unit is there. Among other things, metadata for a particular piece of data could include a date and time stamp for when the data were archived, user ID of a person who conducted the test or analysis that generated the data, the instrument ID used to acquire the data, audit time, etc. So now, what is the data? Data is only a number, or maybe only the source for us. And what is the data? If we add some features, add some details to the data, then it's become a metadata. So now the definition of data is clear. It's include raw data with data is meaningful together, means it's with metadata. So by combining the raw data and with metadata, it's become a data. Okay, so data is clear now. Also this example showing that we generally listen the music, but the we generally know the rhythm of it, or we can say audio of it, but some details, or some information is also available with that file. So by right click with showing the detail, so it's so all details of the file, means what is the bit rate, what is size of it, and when it is created, when it is modified, what is the format of it. It's maybe mp3, mp4, mpg, whatever. So metadata contain all the information for that data. So going to the next, what is original record and true copy? So the name says already, it's a original record. So it's a first copy. We generally say that it's a original document is there. It's our mark sheet, or it's our some government record is there. So on that basis, it's a original. So the first or source capture of data or information, example, it's maybe original paper record, or manual observation, or electronic raw data file from the computerized system. It's maybe effective copy of SOP, some original protocol is there. So in pharma industry, it must require that your original record maybe till long life, means it's maybe available whenever required. So original records can be static or maybe dynamic. It is the state of the data to be recorded according to alpha plus principle at its source in the format it was generated. We will know um, in the slide what is the alpha plus. So original records, it's in original form, it's generated from the system, or it's maybe handwritten papers, or maybe protocols, or maybe some SOPs, policies are there. So, and the next one is true copy. It's a one type of Xerox of that original records. So if I take Xerox of our mark sheet, that it's maybe a true copy of it. So my original record, it's one type of my mark sheet, and if I take Xerox of it, then it will be a true copy of that mark sheet. So an exact verified copy of an original record, example, scanned paper record. So in the pharma industry, original record is it may be secured, or it may be a standard copy for the organization, and true copy, it's one type of carbon copy of it, or it may be utilized for routine operation, or it's required for reference purpose, to giving some authority for it, or maybe some departments are there. So original record, it's effective copy of SOP, and based on prepared SOP, some other another copies means it's a control copy is delivered to some department, then it will be the true copy of it. So moving to the next, what is data integrity? So now the meaning of data is clear. Data is contain raw data and metadata. Then what is original copy and what is the true copy of it? Now moving to the next, what is data integrity? So now concept of data is clear now. And what is data integrity? Integrity is the degree to which data are complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy, reliable, and that these characteristics of the data are maintained throughout the data life cycle. So this definition is given by MHRA, and the USFDA says that data integrity refers to the completeness, consistency, and accuracy of data. It's maybe complete, consistent, accurate data should be attributable, legible, contemporaneously recorded, original, or a true copy, and accurate. So this different terminology is used for data integrity by MHRA and USFDA. So full form of MHRA is Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. So in GXP environment means it's maybe GLP, good laboratory practices, GCP, good clinical practices, GMP, good manufacturing practices, or GDP means good documentation practices. So in the context of GXP environment, data integrity can be defined as the act of maintaining and assuring the accuracy and consistency of data over its life cycle. So throughout the life cycle, data may be secured or maybe in a proper way. So it will be used anytime. It will be stored in a particular way. So it's maybe comply your the requirement, and it will fulfill the quality assurance. So data integrity is a critical aspect to the design, implementation, and usage of any system with which store, process, or retrieve data. So integrity of data, that's called data integrity. Means it's one type of honesty for data, one type of responsibility to mention that data, to control that data. So this different terminology is used to define data integrity. So by this definition, you already seen that it's maybe complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy, reliable. So this type of terminology is used in definition. So in pharma industry, we using Alcoa Plus, which contain all the terminology of this type of definition which is given by MHRA, USFDA, or any other regulatory agencies. So moving to the next, why data integrity is required or it's maybe important in pharma industry. So to face the audit, to comply your regulatory requirement, for audit point of view, and for your security or maybe your quality assurance point of view, data integrity is required. So data integrity is the good thing. Generally we know that it's a uh, someone said that it's data integrity, but data integrity is the honesty of that data. But the data integrity violation means to break the data integrity, so it's a bad thing. So if your industry face any data integrity violation, some points regarding to break that someone break the data integrity, so it's maybe in in the form of 483, some warning letters are there for data integrity issue. So breach of data can be intentional or accidental, means without intention of to breaching the data, someone breach that data or some violation is there for data in system. So impact of both affecting the company means your reputation will be broken down in the market, and it's in a market your customer is not satisfied with your service. So this type of thing will happen in industry. If data integrity violation is there or any breaching is there, the company will receive a warning letter, as I already said, from the FDA, and their license to produce may be cancelled. So reputation will be down in market, or some news is there. So the pharmaceutical company market share will drop out in market, and be affected by a negative reputation, negative impact, thus resulting in a low customer satisfaction. So employee can leave the organization, and some new employee want to join that company. So by this a negative impact or down reputation, no one will try to join that company, because no any security for that, and no any good employment is there. So all over the loss is affected by this data integrity violation or data integrity breach. So its image is down by the breaching of this data integrity. So there is no any customer satisfaction for the service or so for that product. We already know some news or something unaware is there in company. So by that yeah, impact of your profit is there, so it's low down. The customer will suffer if any don't receive the effect of the medicine, and low quality product could even put their health and safety at a risk. So no one can buy, or no one want to buy the product which is manufactured by that company or that industry. So it is critical for that company to strictly follow the rules for validation and data integrity, and adhere to all the strength guideline of FDA and other regulatory bodies. So some guidelines showing that you have must have to follow some rules and regulations are there, but in industry it is more critical and more tedious job to follow that rules, and how to train the employee, how to implement that rules or regulations in routine activity. So by defining or by explaining what is the impact of data integrity and how you can handle it, some SOPs are prepared, some strict rules are there. So, since a lot of international regulatory agency are focusing on data integrity, it's maybe FDA, MHRA, WHO. So auditors are being trained to recognize data integrity issue in a better way. So they are expert how to know the breaching of data integrity. So data integrity is more important for any industry. So in pharma industry, you have to follow the regulations and rules defined by that regulatory agency. So during audit, yeah, they just check the if all the rules are followed or not. So if any breaching of that the rules, so they come to know some data integrity is breaching. So on that the warning letters are there. So moving to the next, we already discussed that Alcoa Plus is used, and the Alcoa acronyms was first given by Stan W. Woolen from the FDA Office of Enforcement in 1990. So in Alcoa, A is stand for, it's a group of words which is used or which will be used for training purpose or which will be given by the USFDA. So in Alcoa, A is stand for attributable, L is stand for legible, C is stand for contemporaneous, O is stand for original, and A is stand for accurate. And the plus sign represent the CCEA, means C, first C is for complete, second one is consistent, E for enduring, and A for available. So Alcoa Plus is a some bunch of words. It means attributable. What is the data should be? So data should be attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, consistent, enduring, and available. So moving to the next, we know one by one what is the meaning of that word which is used for Alcoa Plus, and they are linked with data integrity. So first letter A in Alcoa Plus, it is attributable. So it identify the person. So by the data, so identification need to be recorded in that data. So data reflect who is responsible, who did it, who created a record, and when. So time is very important when this record is changed or some modification are given into the system, and who give that. So who corrected the records and why, reason for change. So attributable means identity of that person who generate the record, who change that record, or some functionality is changed. So attributable, so that identity of the human being. Second one is L in Alcoa Plus. So L is for legible. So it is readable. So anyone can read. So it's not like doctor writing. We generally say that. So all the spelling or all the written data, it is in legible form, so someone can understand the meaning and the context of that data. So it is long lasting, so no any pencil or no any eraser is used. So some company written in SOP that use only blue or black pen, which is in it is a ball pen. So permanently recorded in a durable medium, means permanent ink is used to record the data. It not be like that. If we go to ATM, then print some statement there for our bank statement is there. So it is or it will be hide, or it will be no link is permanent. So in future you can't get that data, so that type of data will not be considered in industry. So permanent ink is used, and data will be long lasting, and it will be readable by any one of them. So L is represent the data should be legible. So C in alpha plus represent the data should be contemporaneous. Means data recorded, it will be in real time. Whatever the time is available, so by the synchronization of the time, data should be recorded. So what was it done in a real time? So in audit trial, or in some reports, or some, if they have any sequences there in the process, so data must be contained with the timestamp. Means that in time is there to realize that which sequence is or which process is happen in at which time. So online recording of the data is there. So if I doing some activities, so I have to mention real time scenario in that data. So I have to return whatever the time in a clock, so I have to return as time in a reports, or whatever the protocol is there, or some in checklist. So promptly data recorded, so there is no any delay to data record. So data must be recorded at the same time the action is performed. So no any big dating is there. So it's need to be on time. Means the C, which means contemporaneous in Alcoa plus. So moving to the next, it's a O in Alcoa plus. So O means will be in original form. So data is in its unaltered state, like a raw data, as we already discussed in this session. What is raw data? So you must have to store the raw data for long lasting purpose. So original data, it will be available at any time. So original record should confirm authenticity of copies. So some archival or some authenticate records, or data will be stored, not to use scratch paper. So data will be in its original form. If you take some true copies or some control copies from it, but no any alteration or no any deletion in it's in a original data. So in alpha plus, second A is for data should be accurate. Means trueness, free from error. So no any error is there. It is a clear cut the meaning of any data is written in the reports or in a protocol. So anyone can understand what is the meaning of, or if any correction is there, so you have to justify what is the correction, and why you have to do that correction. So useful meaning is there, and identification of the corrector means who cut the data, and identify which one is correct by identification of that person. So identification reflected by the that records, or that's a report. So it's a free from error. Accuracy indicate quality. No errors or editing performed without documented amendments. Honesty is first consideration here, and correct and precise. So data should be from error free, and trueness is reflected in data. So A means accurate in alpha plus. So moving to the next, we see what is in plus for alpha plus. So first C is represent data should be complete. So no any other part or some fraction part is link with this data. So data should be complete in a full bunch of records, full bunch of that papers. So all data that is recorded should be complete. All recorded data requires an audit trial to show nothing has been deleted or lost or nothing has not been missing is there. So data should be complete. So first C represent it's will be complete. So second C represent it will be consistent. So data should be in a chronological arranged, means it will be in one by one step. So the captured sequence must match the accepted sequence. If I have five process for batch manufacturing, then if first process is completed, then second process will be start. If and afterwards third, afterward fourth, and afterward fifth, then my product will be released or will be used to the market to deliver into the market. So the sequence is in chronological way as defined, or it as defined in protocol, or as defined in uh, pre-batch manufacturing. So data will be in consistent or in a proper sequence. That's called the consistency of the data. And E. E in Alcoa Plus, it's represent enduring. Means data are accessible for an extended period of time. Means during end time, it will be with you. It will be long lasting with you. So enduring means the material used to record the data should be in a manner which will last a long duration of time without losing the reliability. So as we know already the in previous session, archival facility should be there in pharma industry to record the data for long time, for the years ago years. It will be 5 years, 10 years, 25 years is there. So data will be long lasted. So any regulatory agency or regular or audits require some previous data, so you can justify it is available, and you can evaluate it. You can prove whatever the compliance is already in previous scenario. So data will be long last with your organization. That's called data will be enduring. And last one, A means available. So data should be accessible whenever needed over the life of the data. It should be easily retrievable over the lifetime of the record. Means whenever I require the data, data should be available in its archival form, or in its in a original form, or it's maybe in a current use. So data should be stored in whatever the place. But if I require some data after 5 years, after 10 years, it will be available to view that data. So by the image available with each this word of Alcoa Plus, you can remember what is the meaning of it, and what should be happen with that data. Means available, it means it will be available anytime with a lifelong. Then enduring means archival facilities there to store that data for long time. Consistent means sequence is there, so one by one step will be followed for to consistency. Complete data should be there, so no any part of data will be missing. It will be accurate, means free from error. It will be original in its original form, so raw data, source data is there. It will be contemporaneous, so data is recorded in a real time scenario. It will be legible, so anyone can read. It will be attributable means identity of the person will be there. So this is the scenario how data should be, which is given by USFDA. So data should follow Alcoa plus principle. So A for attributable, L for legible, C for contemporaneous, O for original, A for accurate, and the plus sign indicate C for complete, second C for consistent, E for enduring, A for available. So the whole scenario of alpha plus is it in one one slide. I combine all the scenario and some meaningful meaning of that particular word. It's showing alpha plus. So start with attributable. So attributable. So the identity of that person. So who performed the activity? If a record was changed, then who changed it and why? So when activity was performed, so identity is defined by attributable. Legible means data should be in a readable form. So information should be easily readable. Material used to record information should be durable. C represent the contemporaneous, the real-time scenario of the data. So real-time recording of events, record observation as and when they are observed. Then original represent the originality of the data, means the first capture of information on paper or electronic. It's maybe raw data or source data. In case of duplicate, original record should confirm authenticity of copies. If I take some printout, some Xerox copies or carbon copies of original data, then some authentication is there, which so that who ensure that this true copy is similar with the original, or some carbon copy is as similar as with the original form. So authenticity of that copies is there, and original record will be available at any time. Then the accurate means it's the data will be error free, correct information related to that activity. And then complete means no deletion has taken place from date of data documentation. So no any file is missing, some data is not available, or some part of data is not available. So all data should be complete, no any other data breaching is there. So it should be include changes during the life of document. Then second one is consistent. It means should be in a chronologically defined or arranged with a timestamp. As I given some example of batch manufacturing, so step by step is followed during preparation of the product. So it's called consistent. Then enduring, which show the end to end with stand with that organization. So data should be in a manner which it will last long for the lifetime without losing the data or without losing the readability of the data. Then it will be available at any time. So documents should be accessible whenever needed over the lifetime. It's by internal audit, or it's by some regulatory, or it's maybe some external audit is there. So this one picture show all scenario of Alcoa plus. So in industry, data should be follow, or it will be defined as a alpha plus. So thank you everyone. So today's session is very important because this type of terminology we already using in pharma industry, but sometimes we doesn't have the clear concept of it, or every industry, this alcoa plus or data integrity related guideline or some SOPs are there. So starting of your career or your employment activity, so this data integrity is must required to follow by any one of them. It's maybe lower level means operator, some supervisor is there, or it's maybe VP or some HODs are there. So everyone have to follow the GDP and the alcoa plus rule. By this alcoa plus rule, you can identify there is no any violation is there, and your system is working as fine as defined by you or defined by regulated agency, and it is in compliance phase, means there is no any breaching of data integrity, there is no any violation is there. So this is reflected in your company profile or company reputation and your trustworthiness for your company. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, Rajat sir.
Thank you.
Uh, Almost 47 minutes completed, and 20 members are watching this video.
Okay.
If you have any doubts about this section or past 5 section, you can ask here.
Okay, someone asking that data integrity is applicable to QC only. No, data integrity is applicable to all department. It may be QA, quality assurance, production, or maybe compliance department, maybe micro department, means quality management system is there. So data integrity is applicable to all of you. If data store, how many days we can store? If stored document are lost when we update the software, which software is used? So I can't say software name during this session. So you have to take some suggestion from previously used vendor, or some scenarios are there, some backup facilities available to the vendor. So they are using partial backup or some another backup. If you lost some backup in your server, so you can take or some restoration from that vendor. So many vendors are available, but most of the time QC is in focused, because every audit QC data is very important, because there are many lab instruments are there which is in controlled manner. So it all have the reports and audit trial. So by auditing that reports and audit trial, you can get that access or get some news for it, that what is breaching or who did it. So pharma industry, QC and manufacturing department are the core part of that this data integrity. So many times audit focus on QC, or we can say that micro department is there. So data integrity is important to all of department. Example of DI in production. Data integrity is a good thing, but data integrity violation is a bad thing. So I want to give example in production, that you doesn't wear your costume or some clothes, and then you enter the aseptic area. So some violation is there. You can get it from that camera. So if I doesn't log in into the system, someone use my password and start the batch. So camera showing that I didn't go there, but system is started. So this is the data integrity violation. If I am not present there, then someone use my password then and start the system. So system company showing that I'm present, not present, and I'm at home, but the batch is started by me. So these are the example in production environment for data integrity. Anything?
Anything else other than this?
So data integrity is not for particular department. All employee have to follow the data integrity for to be honest and for the reputation of that company. Any fine data violation? Sorry, I can't understand what is the question.
Please elaborate, Shiva. Can you elaborate? I try to write another note.
So data violation is breaking of the your integrity, means your rules. If I define that after some process is completed, then I have to start the second process. So without I ensuring that one process is completed, I start second one. That's and then it reflect in that batch, and the product is passed by someone, and it will be in market. So it's a violation of that data, that I hiding something which is intentionally or maybe not intentionally. So it's a data violation. If make possible, tomorrow session complete CSV training program without PPT, like normal kind of classroom explanation. Yes, it will be like that, or some useful tips for interview is there, and we discuss CSV related points which will be already covered in your material, and this all day session PPT. So it will be just like a face to face discussion, and I will give some tips or some question answer which are asking by some interview in CSV related field, and what to prepare, what to do, and what not to do during interview, as per based on my knowledge and my experience and experience of my friends, and some companies review. So it will be face to face discussion, and it's be a general discussion. If anything else, if you want to ask by on another guideline, if I don't know for that guideline, I'll come back to you with proper evidence from that guideline, or it's maybe related to any country. Maybe it's N visa, it's maybe MHRA, it's maybe PICS guideline is there. So we generally discuss the related points for CSV. Training programming is very effective. Thank you. So previous two session, which one is key terms used during computer system validation, and today's session data integrity and basic GDP is a one type of supporting session for your industry, for as a point of view quality assurance and compliance point of view. So this terminology you are facing during your routine operation. So it must be helpful for your industry and your knowledge. FDA fine, FDA fine if the data violation intended or non-intended. Means if I know it is already a data violation, then it's called a intended violation. And sometimes some yeah, error, or as a human being, we know that it's maybe by mistake. So it is a non-intended. If you have any CSV protocol, yes, I have that protocol, but I can share some another industry's protocol for it. And what is defined in any IQOQ or PQ preparation, which will already covered in first session deliverables of CSV. So, what is covered during qualification? It was already covered during first session. So, all documents, SOPs, and protocols are the authority of that particular organization. So, without the permission of it, we can't share with another. Any retention period of documents or data mentioned in any regulations or guideline. So no, it's not mention the retention period in guideline. If you have to follow some guideline, so if you want to face MHRA, so you have to refer the regulation of it, what the regulation of MHRA said. So you have to follow that regulation to store or to backup purpose. So if in MHR is written that this time of period or this time of years you have to store, so you have to follow that rules. Either you can verify or you can distribute some criticality of the system. So based on criticality, you can define the years of that system. Or generally, I saw that in pharma industry, 5 year is the retention period. Or if you it is a CRO or any supporting agency or consultancy is there, then the retention period is 15 years. So it's depend upon criticality of the data and which audit you want to face. So you have to refer a guideline and which is the regulation is given by that audit or that's industry to follow the rules. But in game 5 there is no nothing written for the retention period. If my product is new, then CDS could define that it will be long lasting for 20 years because after first batch manufacturing to clinical trials, the phases of that clinical trials 1 to 3, then it will be used in market by the people. So after evaluating the scenario of that market or the people who using that product, so it will be required some more times and some batches there which is produced by the company. So it's a first product, so it's required some more time to elaborate and to evaluate. So based on that you can define this critical thing, so we can or we have to store the data for long time. It's depend on uh, which is the what type of data is there. If it is possible, sir, identify for commercial product. It's a product
3 to
expiry for CRO until product gets approval and commercialization. So it's related to CRO. So I'm not sure that how many years is defined in CDS CO or any regulatory agency for ICS. So without surety, I I'm unable to say that how many years is defined. So as I already said that you have to follow that guideline or try some guideline to follow that. So anything is written in that guideline, so you must have to follow that. So we generally in pharma industry considering maximum scenario. Just want to give some example. If WHO said that I have to store some data or some batch for 3 years, and USFDA said that you have to store data as a in 5 years. So we generally use the to store the data as a 5 years. So in future, if I face audit of WHO and afterwards I face USFDA, then I am in secure stage. So I store the data for 5 years. So this is the one type of example. So we generally taking as a maximum scenario for any criteria purpose. It may be used in QC or in micro. If we have any documents, either paper or electronics related to GXP manufacturing of drugs API, we follow US FDA guidelines. So can you please tell me the retention period of this? As I already said that I am not able to sure what is the retention period for different types of documents, maybe some batch, maybe some pre-approved product or a first product in market. So here I am not able to sure what is the criteria for different data backup, because many type of data is available. It's related to QC reports are there, batch manufacturing report BMR BPR is there, server data backup is there, which may be daily backup, weekly backup, yearly backup, validation related documents is there, qualification related documents is there. So many types of data available, and it's have different category or regulation. So is for there, for IT related server backup is available. So many different regulatory and defined criteria is there. So you have to read that regulations. On that basis you have to follow that rules. Okay, anything else?
Anything else? I'm seeing here 16 people are watching this video. May
Okay,
I know your name or experience in pharmaceutical industry or where you are working quickly? If you are watching this video, please share your name, experience, and which department you are working. So last
so
four
my
or
name.
5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, my name is
Please.
Raviraj. I worked with many pharma industries or some consultancies there, like validation consultancy. Some pharma industries is there. I work with MCure Pharma as a compliance in a compliance department, and also do some activity for qualification related to manufacturing and related to IT. And I also have the experience with consultancy, so I am aware with the production, aware with the many manufacturing sites with the CROs by the that consultancy. So I visit many industries like MCure Pharma in Pune, Serum Institute in Pune, Sun Pharma Halol, Alembic Vadodara. So many industries or many pharma industries will the part of my career. Thank you, sir. CSP interview and related jobs. We can find related CSP job. Yes, in generally in a CSV requirement, it is already written that computer system validation engineer is required, which have the experience of automation, which have the experience of quality assurance as a compliance point of view. So, any BSc, MSc student, BPharm, MPharm student, we know the rules and regulation of GameFi, some basic knowledge of that US FDA guideline. So, anyone can join and evaluate the CSV.
Okay. Thank you very much. Almost 1 hour 5 minutes completed. So if any questions are there other than this, you can message me in comment box. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.